mamá me dijo, ay, que yo le golpeaba en esa barriguita. Saldré tamborera, yo saldré guerrera, mi mamá me dijo a él. Saldré tamborera, yo saldré guerrera, mi mamá me dijo a él.
Yes.
We are so excited to talk to you. We just played your new song, Mama. We want to welcome to Moccasin Tracks, Manuela Sanchez. And please help us pronounce your full name for us.
Absolutely. So it's actually French, which I don't speak French, so I will do my best. It's Manuela Sanchez Goubert.
Rick thought it was French. You did pretty good with that.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And welcome to the show. And gosh, tell us a little bit more about your music and arriving in New York City from Colombia. Wow. That must have been really an experience that you still relive, and welcoming all your musicians is a wonderful song. And we hear that tradition. We hear what all the band members are bringing, but tell us a little bit more.
Absolutely. So yeah, I was born in Colombia and I moved to New York City when I was 9 years old. Right now it's been kind of half and half, feeling like I'm here, feeling like I'm there, not really knowing where I feel like I'm from. And I feel like a big part of my way of defining my identity, where I come from, what I identify as, is through my music. So this is a fusion of traditional Colombian music, but with jazz and some modern action and harmony, which are all things that I learned in New York City. So I moved and I started middle school in the Bronx, which is where my parents are and my sister are. They're all connected. So I want to say hi and thank you. And then I went to LaGuardia High School for the Performing Arts, which is the Fame School, if you know the Fame series. Yep. So that was my high school. And it was it was like High School Musical. It was like Camp Rock. It was exactly like Fame. So it was a great place to be. I discovered a bunch of jazz music and, other types of American music. And I kind of left my Colombianness aside a little bit because all of my friends were New Yorkers. It was cool to be a New Yorker. So I was like, all right, I can be a New Yorker.
Right. Do you find that you're going back to your roots now that you're producing music?
Yeah. After leaving high school, and now I'm finishing up my studies at Berklee College of Music here in Boston. And after leaving high school, I realized that I had kind of left that aside a little bit. And here I met a lot of Latin American friends of mine who had, gone through the experience of being an immigrant, but more recently. And so I feel like I connected again to my roots when I am here at Berklee and I started composing in those rhythms that I had kind of left aside a little bit, and kind of fusing both of my experiences together.
Wow. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about some of the musicians that you're playing with and the influences that they bring into your music and your compositions.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just been so blessed to have such an amazing band. We're a band of 8 people, so it's big. And
yeah,
we're big. But to find really a group of that many people who really know the tradition and who really have lived it is hard, especially in the US. Yeah. And so I think, they're all Berklee students except for one who goes to Longy, just graduated from Longy School of Music, the bass player, Sebas Guerrero. But they're all familiar with this tradition. We have most of them are from Colombia, but actually the drummer and percussion player Luana Brazan is from Peru, and then our guitarist Pipe is from Chile. So we have a little bit of a mix of everything going on, but they all have been rooted in tradition some way or another. So we kind of all came together and made it happen.
Oh,
Wow.
beautiful.
The piece that we just played is so beautiful.
Thank you
I
so
just
much.
have to say that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Tell us about that, Mama.
Yeah. So Mama, my mom, that means mom, that's Mama.
Oh.
She's tuned in right now, actually.
Oh.
She has been my inspiration for absolutely everything that I do in life. The reason we moved here was because of her, because she got a scholarship to do her PhD at Columbia University.
Oh, wow.
And all my parents, my dad, my mom, and my sister and I said, all right, let's do it. Let's go. And we came here. She's an ethnomusicologist. So all my childhood was of, traditional music in the style. It wasn't just like lullabies. It was like traditional lullabies.
Yeah.
Always throughout the house, we had instruments from everywhere. My dad traveled to Africa a lot. So, some traditional Ethiopian instruments, just a very world-based house, I would say, growing up. And she pushed me to do everything I've done. She's been a huge supporter and an inspiration. When I was little, I looked up to her and obviously wanted to be exactly like her ever since I was like 15.
Yeah.
People were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, an ethnomusicologist, not even knowing what the word meant,
Yes.
But so yeah, this is a heartfelt dedication to her, and a thank you for all that she's done. And to all the mothers out there, I mean, we all have somewhat of a connection to our mom. So
And on our show a lot, we also recognize Mother Earth and, dedicate a lot of music to her and play indigenous music, which I wanted to ask you about. You travel back and forth, I assume, maybe sometimes to get back, to your roots. And how does ceremony, or how does some of those traditions that might be based in ceremony influence you?
Well, to be honest, I haven't been around that, like this music that's the rhythm of cumbia doesn't involve like a ceremony ritual, unlike some other like indigenous tribes in Colombia. I have been around them because of my mom, actually, but that's like a whole other type of music. But definitely it's a part in traditional music. I wouldn't say in cumbia so much.
Yeah. So, I guess what I was wanting to know is, does that influence the music that you're making now? And, so often I see some of the groups that come from different parts of the world, they open their show with maybe a ritual song, before they get to sharing dance, music with their audience, or, that kind of thing. I'm wondering if you have a sense of that, or if you see that in the community that you're playing music for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, call it a ritual or not, there are definitely some like songs that can be felt like ceremonial songs, like kind of what you think of like jazz standards, like everyone goes to a jam and you're like, okay, we all know All of Me, so let's play that. Kind of like that. There are some like common songs in the traditional language as well. So definitely when we first got together and kind of like getting to know each other musically, there was a lot of, okay, what is traditional in this style that they usually do? And it's very simple, just like percussive drums and vocals that, leads us to connecting in a ritualistic way. So that is my way of interpreting that.
Yeah. Nice, beautiful. I love the drums. They and on this particular track that you released, and was really kind of wonderful, and felt so traditional rhythm. Like I felt that listening to it. What do you see happening in the near future with your music?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of plans. So the drummer on that tune is Federico Aristizabal. He's from Colombia, from Medellin. He's incredible. I mean, this music first takes a lot of layers, So there's a drummer, and we have another percussionist, Juan Sebastian from Colombia also. And then another percussionist, Luana, who I mentioned before, who's from Peru. And so it's a bunch of layers and layers, but it's the solid groove. But to the future, I'm releasing my next single on the 28th of June, so very soon.
Very soon, yeah.
And that is a traditional Peruvian rhythm, so straying a little bit away from Colombia, but still within the Latin American world style. And after that, we're going to be releasing the full album, which has 6 tunes in August, around August 2nd, beginning of August. And then we're taking that to Colombia. We're going on tour. We're doing New York, Boston, and we're doing Bogotá, Colombia, Medellin, Colombia, Quito, Ecuador, and Lima, Peru.
Good for you.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So exciting. You're saying that this is your first single release, but actually you've been playing original compositions for longer than that, right? From reading about you a little bit. Tell us about that, some of those original compositions that you started to do early on.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I grew up in a very musical household. So me and my sister were always like making up songs on the spot, just about anything. Composing, I started when I was very little, but then actually, sitting down and being like, okay, I'm going to write out a piece of music that's going to have my name at the top right corner. It's going to be written by Manuela Sanchez Goubert. And then when I was in high school, actually at LaGuardia, and I thought, okay, what is my best way to make myself different from everyone here? And I said, okay, you're Colombian, what represents Latin music in this New York scene? And the thing that I thought of was salsa, because everyone's like, okay, Latino salsa, yeah. I'm not really a salsa musician or a salsa composer, but at that time, struggling to know what was what, I was like, okay, Hispanic equals salsa. So I wrote a salsa tune that I actually am very proud of. It's great. I love the music, how it came out. But it was kind of forced into to fit in a box of Hispanic equals salsa. But so yeah, that was a big hit. I performed it in high school. It was great at all the big concerts. We had a bunch of songwriting classes, and high school was just a great time for me. And then I came here, and I'm studying engineering and production, music engineering and production. And a big project of ours was to produce a musician. And so my friend, who was also in MP&E, production and engineering, reached out to me and was like, hey, you write songs, right? And I was like, yeah, kind of. And he was like, so I want to produce a full album of yours.
Wow.
I said, you got it.
Wow.
Went home,
Fantastic.
2 months, and just did it all. And yeah, and then slowly it's been coming from there. But yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it sure is.
You need to get a gold cape.
I like to think that when I set my mind to something, I do it no matter what. So for those 2 months, I definitely did not see any of my friends, no fun, just writing, but I got it done.
Yeah. Wow, what a project. And to be at a school of music and be surrounded by others who are also working in the field must also help you stay focused.
Yeah, it's not easy, being isolated and just, leaving studios at 6 in the morning, always being music. But then when everyone's around you is doing the same thing, you're like, okay, I guess this is my normal now.
Right, yeah.
So what do you do in your free time?
I try to do anything that's not music. So I love art in general. I love to draw. and I love sewing and anything having to do with my hands. So I like to go to the thrift store. We got a bunch of, jeans that are like male jeans or, oversized stuff, and then just fix it and make it fit and do funky things.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Can I ask, how long have you been doing visual art? Is that something that you grew up doing a lot also?
I want to say that yes, it was something that, my mom always put us in, art class, dance class, everything class, except gymnastics, because my dad was convinced that I was gonna, like break both my legs or something. I never could do that. But anything having to do with art, so I'd be in art class, but it wasn't really something that I was ever like, okay, maybe this could be a future for me. Like, it was always just, okay, I am like stressed or anxious and I want to, relieve some of the tension, and then I would draw. And it's still like that, but I find it's like my safe place of not feeling like I have to do something perfect or
right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Great. Wow. Well, we look forward to your new release coming out, and hopefully you'll send it to us so we can air it on the radio. And I just find it's an inspiration to hear your music, and there seems to be a lot of this. I'm going to say fusion, but it's like coming together, different styles, the traditions with the jazz, with all this stuff coming together. And I love how, people your age, I'm going to say younger people, are bringing that in together. And for me, it represents world harmony, really that we can have a vision of that kind of fusion and bringing our traditions together. And I'm wondering if you have kind of a sense or a feeling about that, and how that might influence your work as well.
Yeah, it's music is healing. Music is a way of connection. Music is just, it's community. And so for me, I especially knowing that in the US and everywhere, yes, there are a lot of Latinos and we all come from different places, but to find this common ground of first the language, we're all doing music in Spanish, but just different grooves. Like Luana will bring in grooves from Peru, Pipe will bring in some artists from Chile, and all of us who are from different places in Colombia, we're not all from the same city, bring in little different grooves of everything, and we create something that is community, and it's all of ours. It's not just mine, even though I wrote the song. It's just a big community, and I think it's really peaceful.
Yeah, it's a great example of what we can aspire to, bringing that creativity to a positive thing that then gets offered to a larger community, a worldwide community, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm also at the Global Jazz Institute, which is like this institute part of Berkeley, which is run by Danilo Perez and Marco Piñataro, and a big part of that, the whole mission of that, is social activism through music.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Experienced, going to prisons, going to nursing homes, going to all these places that don't have music, and just the simple act of playing a blues or something that for us is like, oh, not all of me again, like playing this music for these people, it's amazing to see their faces light up. Like, I've never felt anything like that. And it really shows you the power of music that you don't see every day when you're surrounded by musicians. It's like, oh,
right.
But it's really a healing power, and it's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. You really have a gift, and I appreciate that, and hearing these stories. It's really wonderful that you're sharing your gift with so many people. Good for you.
Good for us.
Good for us, yeah.
I love it. I mean, you have such creative energy, and you're putting it in all different kinds of places and kind of stringing it together as one kind of creative expression.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts or words that you'd like your community to hear, that folks that may be listening today?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all the support. And music is nothing without the listener, without the people to touch. So thank you all. If you want to stream my music, you can do so on Spotify, Apple Music. My Instagram is Manuela Sanchez. And yeah, just stay tuned for future releases. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really been fun.